So I want to share something with you real quick before we jump into the podcast. So lately I've been hearing this more and more from women, and it's something I went through myself. So these women have been working out regularly, they know how to work out, and then they hit their menopausal years and things just aren't working anymore. They're gaining weight, their body composition is changing, and they feel soft because of muscle loss. And it's not necessarily because what they're doing is wrong. It's just that their body has changed and no one ever showed them how they needed to adjust for that. And I remember this too. I hit menopause and my body composition shifted and not in a good way. My legs were squishy even though I was still working out. So I had to change the way that I worked out. And it's because of that that I'm working on a brand new program called the Menopause Muscle Building and Body Recomp. It's specifically for women 40 plus who are already lifting. They want to keep lifting heavy, but they want to learn how to do it for their new menopausal body. And they want to learn how to actually support their body nutritionally through menopause, especially when it comes to eating enough protein, how to recover, and how to change their body composition. I'm starting this as a beta coaching program, which means it'll be a small group, it'll be more hands on, and those women will get early access and beta pricing, which I will finalize everything soon. If that sounds like something you want to hear more about, there's a link in the show notes to join the waitlist. And being on the waitlist doesn't lock you into anything, it just makes sure you get the details first and you have the option to jump in at the beta coaching rate if it feels like a good fit. All right, let's jump into today's episode. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Fit Chicks and Hormones podcast. Today's episode is something that I feel is going to hit many of my listeners, and it's something that I think that just a lot of women need to hear, especially in their midlife, or if you feel like you're an all or nothing person, right? You have to be 100% and everything's going good, or you just can't, you give up because you can't be perfect. And I work with a lot of women on both spectrums for sure. So what we're going to do today is talk about the mindset shifts that help women stay consistent without feeling guilty, without getting burnt out, because neither one of those things are beneficial to us, especially when we're going through our menopausal years. So I'm excited today to have Alicia Jones, and I'm so glad that I was able to figure out her name. I wasn't sure if I was going to say it wrong, but I got it good. She is a women's health and fitness expert who specializes in helping women over 45 build strength, lose weight, and regain their energy in a way that is sustainable, which is what we all want. With her background in kinesiology and years of coaching experience, she's passionate about helping women move away from extremes and into smarter and more supportive strategies, which we all need. Yes, yes. So, Alicia, I'm so excited to have you here. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. I'm really excited to talk about mindset as well. It's something that what you were just speaking on is something that I'm actually writing a series on for YouTube right now because it is so prevalent. Like you have the extremes of I need to do something every day. I have to do something every day. And if I don't, a lot of guilt around that to the other side of things where it's like I can't get on track. So yes, I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, good. I love that. And I feel that that's the thing is in men, like in our midlife, right? Things are a little bit harder. Things are just it just is. And it's not because you're really doing anything wrong, but I feel like we either feel we want to give up so much easier because we can't do everything perfect. We're not seeing the results right away, and it's like we need to be a little bit more consistent and things like that, right? So, and I think that may be the hardest part. So, what are your thoughts on why do you think consistency is a little bit harder in midlife, and why is it different than it was like in our 20s?
Well, first off, we are juggling a lot more in midlife. I think we can all agree with that. And it really depends on what age of midlife or stage of midlife you're in. But I know personally, you've got your job. For some people, it's the job and kids and the maybe aging parents that you're taking care of. You're trying to do it all and have it all at the same time. And again, we're trying to almost be perfect at everything. And it's a time in our lives when we need to start shedding that and coming into this new stage of life differently because we can't do it all, and I think that's a part of the issue. I think also as our hormones are shifting, our resilience to stress is shifting as well. So maybe in your 20s you could stay up all night, pull an all-nighter for school, go out with your friends, have all the things, all the stressors going on, doing all the intense types of workouts, and you could bounce back a lot easier. Now our resilience to stress, because of these hormone shifts that are going on, is much different. So things are affecting us to a greater degree. Our stress or anxiety might be at a higher level, or we need better ways to cope and handle all of the life stressors, as well as our ability to handle stress.
Right. Yeah, I agree 100%. I think that's one thing that I have to, we talk about the nutrition piece, the workout piece, the move, all that, but sometimes it's like comes back to we need to focus on releasing some of this stress that you got going on because right and it's that perfectionism or wanting to do more, like going doing all the things when really sometimes it's like you need to do a lot less or you're
Yes.
gonna get burnt out. It's gonna affect your hormones even that much more.
Mhm.
um and then what happens? What do you see happen with women when that happens? Like they continue to push and push and push, and then where do they end up?
Well, I think the hardest thing for me to see from the outside is how hard these women are on themselves.
Hmm.
How much they're blaming themselves. I think there's this understanding that things need to shift, but it's still very much why can't I do it all? What's wrong with me? Why do I lack willpower? Why am I not disciplined enough? Or why can't I be consistent? I think it's a time where we need to come to the table more with compassion towards ourselves and understanding that maybe pushing when we were younger gave us all of the things that got us to where we are today, but we need to shed that now and become more compassionate with ourselves and really listen to what our body needs, as in the quality of what we're doing instead of the quantity or the push.
Right, I agree. I agree. Why do you think that women like, well, this is kind of how we are, right? We feel guilty all the time. Like we feel like if we can't do it
Mhm.
all, then it's our fault or, we want to do everything. Why do you think that that guilt is so hard to let go? Because that's the thing that I tell women, give yourself grace. Just it's okay to say no. It's okay to just say no to things. You don't have to be there for everyone. But then I feel so guilty. And what do you think that is, or why is that?
Well, I think for all of us, especially if we're in midlife, we have been dealing with decades now of what it is supposed to be a woman, a caregiver, somebody who does it all. Perfectionism and trying to be the caregiver, trying to do things for everyone else and take care of ourselves. That's ingrained in us. And I think it becomes incredibly hard to say, okay, again, that's not serving us anymore. We need to start taking care of ourselves. I think trying to reach for perfectionism in a lot of ways is because we don't feel enough. And I think that's also why this scale becomes almost like this thing. If we reach that number on the scale, we'll be enough. We will be skinny enough, pretty enough. We will be healthy enough. And so again, it's almost like there's this part or this void that we are trying to fill by trying to be perfect number on the scale. And it's almost like this is a time when we have to realize or how to figure out how to be enough without that number on the scale or without being perfect, because perfection does not exist. The only thing we are perfect at is being imperfect. We are perfectly
Yes.
imperfect.
Yes. Yeah,
Hmm.
and that's they women need to stop letting that scale control their whole life. Like
Hmm.
that's it's they're either I'm doing everything wrong or I'm doing everything right just based on that number. And like I'm
Hmm.
like that is the further right now where you're at. If you're in your 40s, 50s, that scale number is not telling you anything you need to know.
Hmm.
Right? That's I think the hardest part I think for a lot of women. And so let's move on to since we don't want to focus on perfectionism, right? And
Hmm.
we don't want to just be like, okay, I'm not going to do anything. What do you think? How do we get women to shift from just being consistent and what that looks like for them on a daily basis?
Yeah, I think first we need to define what consistency is, because I think for a lot of people, they're thinking, it means I have to do something every day. It means that I have to never have a donut my entire life. It means that if I have a scheduled workout plan, if something comes up and I miss that workout, now I'm no longer consistent. And what's the point in trying? And we need to understand that consistency is more of an overall blanket or overall idea. So in the course of a year, were you trying to eat well a lot of the time? You tried to exercise to your best capability. Again, it's cutting yourself some slack and giving yourself some grace instead of thinking it's about checking off every workout that's on the calendar. It's more about, did I get stronger at the end of this year? So personally, I like parameters. I like it, if my clients, the people that go in my program, they do a fitness test at the beginning when they're starting. We get to see where you're starting from, and there's no judgment. You do no push-ups at first because you're not able to. Great. You do one. Great. And then over the course of 12 weeks, over the course of 6 months, it's like maybe you're able to do two, maybe you're able to do four. That to me is more consistency. It's
Mhm.
not this idea of what you've checked off the list. It's where you've progressed over the course of, let's say, 12 weeks, 6 months, a year.
Right. Yeah, I agree with that 100%. Like you want to look at what you're building upon and how you're moving forward versus,
Mhm.
oh, did I lose 10 pounds? Oh, did I eat protein every day? Like that's not, I mean, those are all good things, but it's like let's look at how you are consistently building upon and reaching goals, like whatever they are, whatever that may be. Like you said, getting stronger or you're doing more push-ups. I mean, celebrating the wins, I think, is so important for women right now. It's like the littlest thing. Let's think of one thing that you're winning at right now. Even if it's like, you know what, I'm sleeping good again. Like
Mhm.
I think we feel like it has to be something huge, like I have to lose 15 pounds or I have to, you
Mhm.
know, whatever, I have to lift 100 pounds before I'm successful or before I reach the goal. And that's not, and before I celebrate what I've accomplished. And I think that celebrating the small little things is so important because it lights us up. It makes us motivated to do more, right? Is that what you find?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. It's all about the celebration, even the smallest wins or accomplishments. And I think also it's about getting mindful because if the dialogue is always, because I think logically we know, oh, okay, I want to lose 15 pounds, but the scale isn't the same as it used to be. I understand at a logical or analytical level that, the water retention, fluid retention is shifting. We're going through hormone fluctuations. The scale's not going to be the same as it used to be when you just drop 4 or 5 pounds. But
Yep.
if the dialogue still internally or emotionally is I have to lose 15 pounds, I want to challenge that. I want to ask you why. What is it? And get a little bit more clarity on that because I think what happens is we start to put a lot of emphasis on what it means to lose weight or to eat every healthy meal, but we've kind of detached from what that actually means for us. So does it mean you aren't enough if you're not that weight on the scale? Does it mean that maybe you're afraid? Like I have clients that when we dig a little bit deeper, it's because they're afraid that they're going to have the same disease that their parents had, heart disease, or the last decade of their life they were bedridden, and so it brings them a lot of fear. I think you need to dig a little bit deeper as to the why that is so important for you instead of okay, like it's all about don't look at the scale now because logically I should know, but logically I know and I still want the thing on the scale. Like we need to dig a little bit deeper.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I just had a conversation with somebody the other day and I was like, "So what are your goals?" She's like, "I want to be skinny." I'm like, "Okay. Let's talk about this. Like what does that mean and why is that important?" Like because that again, it's coming down to that. I don't know if it's because of what we see on the internet, we see
Mhm.
on I mean everywhere like everybody looks thin and everybody looks good and they look but that doesn't mean that they're happy. That doesn't mean that they're in a good
That's
place in their life, right? That doesn't mean that they're thriving because they may be unhealthy.
That's it, exactly. And I think some of it is that comparison. Like when we get there, again, we'll have enough. We'll have enough beauty. We'll have enough, happiness. Because a lot of these are like, hey, you're going to be so happy. Like I just saw a commercial for Manjaro the other day on TV, and it was like this lady in the garden dancing, and she was so happy. Like I'm like, you're trying to say that if you do lose a certain amount of weight or achieve this, the happiness is going to follow. And
Yes.
that's not true because then there's going to be something else once you get there. Like I've had clients who reach their goal and they're like, oh, but maybe if I just lost 5 more pounds. but maybe, if I was more toned because I'm not quite as tight or firm as I used to be. And again, I think it's really important to dig a little bit deeper and find out what is going on. And to what you were talking about before too, I think a lot of times one of the things that is going on for many, I know as I'm getting older, this is something that I look in the mirror and I do compare myself now to when I was in my 20s. Things are a little bit different and they're going to be different. And I think it's important to say, okay, like I know that there's this change that is happening, but how can we get to a place of acceptance or love for where we're at now?
Yeah, 100%. I tried myself as well, and with my clients, I'm like, okay, you are getting older, so what things do you appreciate about where you're at right now? What things, maybe it's not you don't have the body you had when you were 20 years old, but maybe you're stronger and maybe you're healthier, you're not on a bunch of medication. Like there's always things that you should focus on instead of just that number on the scale. It's the most frustrating, I think, is just to get
Absolutely.
it, and so much it always comes from what's going on up here. Like what they're thinking, what this is what I should look like versus what do I want to look like and feel good. And sometimes I don't know about you having those conversations, you got to dig and dig and dig and dig and dig until it's like, I just want to put on clothes and have them fit. Like, yes, perfect. Let's do that instead of worrying about losing 15 pounds because that may look different. Like your clothes
Yes,
fitting may look different than
absolutely.
the weight on the scale. So,
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. Yes, I
yeah.
totally agree with you.
So, what would be some, if women are, because again, if we have the all or nothing mindset, right?
Mhm.
I find that a lot of women are like, well, I'm just not motivated to do anything, or I'm doing all the things and then I give up because it's not working. And so they lose that motivation, like that drive. Like nothing's working. It doesn't matter what I do. If I do everything right or if I don't do anything, it's all, the same. So they don't have that motivation. And I always say motivation isn't something that you can find.
Mhm.
It's actually something you get from doing. So what would be some things that you have women do, like rituals or tools that you have them to get that motivation, that feeling of wanting to do more and without being perfect, but with just being more consistent?
Yeah, I think it has to do with the internal motivation more than the external motivation. And again, again, when we were talking about weight, it's not about, hey, I'm going to fit into these pants or I'm going to go to the reunion and everyone's going to be like, oh, you look so good. It's more like, what is this actual workout going to accomplish for me? So, perfect example, I think we were talking before this. I'm in Niagara Falls, Canada. It was like minus 20 something here in the freezing cold. I had no motivation to go and do my run. None. What motivated me was the feeling I was going to get afterwards, the mental clarity. For me, it's very psychological. If I haven't done my exercise, I actually start to feel sad or tired. And so
Mhm.
I needed that energy, and I knew that that end goal was what was really important. I'm lucky I'm an exercise responder, which means that after a workout, I feel that energy high. I know about half of the population doesn't get that, but you're still getting the benefit. So, what is the benefit for you doing that workout? Because there are going to be the cold days, the days when you have zero desire to do the workout. There has to be something that for you internally is so important, it doesn't matter what would happen externally. Because at the end of the day, especially as we get older, we don't care to impress people as
Right.
much, right? Like it doesn't, we're going to say, well, yeah, I'd love to lose that weight for the reunion that's coming up. So I look my best, but today it's kind of cold. I'm not going to go out, you know?
Right, right. Yeah. Yeah, I agree for sure.
Hmm.
S- Yeah, so if let's see, where should I go from this? Are there things, okay, you kind of talked about your own mindset here a little bit. If you
Hmm.
have a client, let's say they're really struggling with just even getting started,
Hmm.
because again, in their head, they're like, first of all, they're focused on the scale and they're thinking, I got to do these 10 million things that you want me to do. I can't do all that. So they're just like already shutting down, like, nope, it's not going to happen for me. I don't know what. What would you be like, what step by step, like, what would you be like? Here are just three things, top three things that I want you to focus on right now, because I find that kind of the same thing when it goes in with motivation, momentum, like starting something
Hmm.
that you put some action into will get you to move forward and make you want to do more, right? So what would be three things that you would say, here's where I want you to start?
Well, you're talking about two sets of people, the ones that want to do something every day, try and do something every day, and then either can't accomplish that because life gets very busy, like we've talked about, or they get injured and hurt, or they feel sore and their sleep's disrupted. And so they kind of give up there or aren't seeing results, right? And then they give up there. Or the people that are like, oh my goodness, I'm not that motivated. I'm that exercise non-responder that Alicia is talking about. Don't care how I feel after the workout because I don't get that high. And I just want to do the minimum to feel my best. The first thing I'd say for both groups that's very important to understand is that it is about doing less, but the quality matters. And I think that's important to understand for the person that wants to do it all, because maybe what you need to learn a little bit is to dial it back in order to feel better, to get better results, and to get that weight loss if that is something for you that you want. And for the person that's really struggling because they're like, I can't do something every day, I don't have the motivation and I don't want to. Well, guess what? You don't need to. Especially when you're first starting out with exercise, you're in this amazing place where you could pretty much do anything for exercise and you will increase your strength. You will increase your quality of life, become healthier, and yes, help with your metabolic rate through lean mass. So you're in this great place where less is the best thing that you can do. If you're somebody that really wants or needs to do something every day, then you can do a lot of active recovery. So that is not the resistance training. It's just something like maybe cleaning your house, maybe going for a walk with your friends, walking your dog because you have a dog, you're going to have to do that anyways. You're not doing something that's intense every day. You're taking into consideration that that active recovery is a part of your workout strategy.
Yeah, that's really good. I'm glad that you brought that up because there are those two different types of people, right? There, and you have to work with them differently. You have to make them think a little bit differently, because I find that the women that want to do all the things, I'm like, yeah, but right now that's not doing you any favor. So
Mhm.
let's just back off just a little bit. And the ones that don't want to do things, like, just I want you to go for a 10-minute walk. I just want you to go outside. Just put the sun on your face. You're gonna feel better, and it's gonna make you want to do more, right? And then from there, let's see where you go. Like it's definitely, you have to work with each individual person separately. Again, and I think so much of it comes back to what's going on in their head. Because we are,
Absolutely.
as women, are we not constantly talking to ourselves? Oh, what we should be doing, what we should be doing, what we should be doing, and not never, or we're not doing enough. And if you had any like mindset shifts, like
Mhm.
what would you say to women that have that constant struggle going on in their head of what they should do? Like, how do you quiet the noise to just bring
Mhm.
them back to a place of, all right, I just need to focus and get
I'd
through.
say I'd change the dialogue you're having in your head. So first off, every time we're doing the I want to do it, I don't want to do it, but you should be doing it, but you can't be like I don't want to do it right now. What you're doing is you're actually eroding willpower. Willpower is a cognitive function. It is very much based on our thoughts and how we're feeling, and that's a part of our motivation, right? Willpower to do the workout. And every single time we're trying to fight with ourselves on do it, don't do it, you erode willpower because you're literally breaking down brain power. That's what is happening. And this conversation of don't do it, do it, don't do it, it's not going to get you to do the workout. It's just going to make you exhausted at the end. And then you're going to feel incredibly disappointed when you don't. So the first thing you need to do is give yourself permission to not do it. Give yourself permission. Okay, I don't want to do the workout today, so I'm not going to do it. But I'm going to set a 5-minute timer and I'm going to dig into why I would do it, why I wouldn't do it. It's not, there's no judgment and there's no yes, I'm going to do it or no, I'm going to do it. Not going to do it. It is basically just figuring out whether it is of benefit to you, it's going to be valuable for you too in the long run, or whether it's something you're going to pass on. So, that might be you set the timer and you say, I did not sleep last night at all. And I am absolutely exhausted. And that is why I don't want to do the workout. Okay, you have permission not to do it. Then maybe you're like, okay, well, but would I feel better after I did it? Start questioning, would I feel better after I did it? No, I wouldn't feel better because I haven't slept. You're giving yourself permission not to do it. You're taking out any sort of the thinking and pushback to actually figure out whether you're going to get yourself to do it. It's not about giving yourself excuses. It's not about pushing back. It's about just giving yourself 5 minutes and figuring it out.
Yeah, I love that. And I actually had to do that just, was it last Monday? Because I've been sick on and off. It's been a crazy
Oh,
year for me.
I totally
So
get that.
sick
Yes.
on and off. And I finally, and I was going to work out with some girls, and I finally had to text them, like, you guys, you can come and work out, but I'm not going to do it. And it was hard for me to make that decision because I love to work out, but I was like, my body is just not. And so, that spiral of I really should work out, but I don't think I should, but I should. And I was like, but why am I doing this? I'm doing it because I know that if I don't, I'm going to push myself beyond feeling worse, and then I'm not going to be able to work out in
Mhm.
another couple days, and it's going to just, spiral downhill. So giving myself permission to make that decision based on how I was feeling and what I really needed, it felt great. And the girls that I worked out with are like, good for you. I'm proud of you for making that decision. That's what we want to hear too, is like, okay, good. I made a good decision, and
Yes,
hey for me.
absolutely, totally. And that works for eating as well. I think there's a lot of, no, I shouldn't eat that food, but yes, I really want to eat it, but it's on the counter. Well, what if you hide it? And a lot of pushback. But if you just say, okay, I'm gonna leave that food on the counter and give myself 5 minutes and just see how I'm feeling. Is this because I'm hungry? Is it because it's something I haven't, had? It's nostalgia, for example. I haven't had that in years, and it reminds me of my childhood, which there's no judgment there. There are certain foods that we love because it does remind us of our childhood. Or is it simply that you're like, yeah, it's there and it's a habit for me to pick it up because my husband always leaves something there and I'm going to take some of it? It gives you that moment to think about it, have some space from it, and there's no judgment whether you have it or not.
Yeah, I love that. And that's a lot, again, working. I think for me, as a woman in my early 50s, and a lot of the women I work with about the same age, is like, I'm not willing to give up so much of my life right now. I'm 50 years
Mhm.
old. I can choose, and if I want to have a piece of cake, I'm going to have a piece of cake. But I'm going to make it with
Mhm.
the choice of, you know what, I really want this right now versus, well, it's just sitting there and my husband brought it home, but I really want to eat it, like, just,
Yeah. Is
yeah,
it
like,
worth it? That's the question, right? Is it worth it for you right now? And sometimes the answer is heck yeah.
yeah.
And sometimes it's like, nah, I ate out yesterday and that was good for me. I know I'll feel icky if I do this.
Yes. Yeah. It's like, I talk about this with my stepdaughter sometimes. Is it a want or is it a need? Kind of the same thing, right? Do
Mm,
you really want this or is it just something you feel like you need to have? Right? Same thing
exactly.
with the food. So you got to make that conscious choice and decision, yeah, based on where you're at. So,
Absolutely.
yeah. I think the biggest thing, like we've talked about a lot so much, is that right now it's not about doing anything extreme, right? We don't want anything to be extreme. We want to learn to set boundaries and have a conscious make those choices, right? Having a plan
Mhm.
so that we can get results, whatever they may be, right?
Mhm.
And you
And
don't need
that's what I love too about this, stage of life, because I think a lot of us have done a lot of restriction and deprivation and all the hard work, like huff puff workouts that just, even back then, felt like they were punishment. And I
yeah,
think we're all like, we're done with that. That
yeah,
is just not something we want to do. It's not worth it. Talking about worth, it's not worth it. And
right,
so
right.
I think everybody here is really ready for a change. It's just, I think it's trying to rewire or figure out how to get that.
And I think it has to be a choice based on what you want, not what you think you should be doing. Like you just mentioned, you went out for a run. I used to love running. I absolutely hate it
Mhm.
now. It's not something I'm going to do it. I don't want to do it. It doesn't bring me joy. It doesn't, you know what I mean? And there's some women that just love it, and that's great. But
Mhm.
I think that it comes down to that too, is like if it's not lighting you up, if it's not bringing you joy, if it's not making you feel like you're making progress, then, it's okay. You don't have to do it because somebody on Instagram told you you need to do it, right? Or
Yeah.
you've seen
Uh-huh.
this person, she lost weight and she's doing this. Well, I should do that. No, you have to do it for yourself and what works for you.
Yes, it has to be that internal motivation because all the external, it's never going to stick. Never.
No, not at all. Because then you'll just not see the results and not get where you think you should be, and then you'll just give up. At least that's what
Yeah.
I see.
Well, I have to say, because I'm a huge weight train person, like do weights, lift weights. I weight train, I run, I swim, but I have to be honest with you, I don't love weight training. I
Mhm.
don't do it because I'm like, this lights me up. I'm going to the gym or I'm doing this workout in my house and it's the most fun thing I've ever done. I don't feel like weight training is fun. I feel
Yeah.
like weight training afterwards, I feel so strong. I
Mhm.
feel like, like my mom who's in her 80s, she's like, can you grab this 50-pound bag of birdseed and like bring it downstairs? And you get the guy at the shop saying, oh, I'll come over and I'll help you because she can, I know it's hard for you. And I'm like, no, 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 I got this. I
Yeah.
feel proud. I feel confident. I feel like this is like I feel strong. I feel like I can open the jars and lift the 50-pound bags of birdseed. That's why I do it. And I feel good because of that. So there might
Yeah.
be an activity that you don't love, but the end goal is something that you want so badly that you're worth doing that. But
Yeah.
if that is you and you don't love it, then you have to ask yourself, what is the minimum effective dose that I can do and still get those results?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I walk every single day, no matter what, rain, snow, cold, whatever. I walk and I'm totally fine with that, but get me to run. If I have to run, like to the mailbox quick because it's cold, maybe, but
See, and that's the opposite for me. Like my husband loves to walk places, and I'm like, oh my gosh, why don't I just run? Like you get there faster, it's better. But I do love like if I am with my dog, I'll go to the woods and we'll go and do a hike, and I'll just look up and look at the birds and the trees. It's beautiful and it's calming, and it is so good for my mental health too, and for our hearts. So yeah, it is. You have to find that balance between joy and what's going to get you the joy.
right,
Yeah.
right, 100%. And if there is something that you probably should be doing, again, like look at the benefit. What benefit are you getting from it, right?
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
that you will want to do it maybe a little bit more, whatever. But don't
Yes.
force yourself. That's what I think it should be.
Hmm.
Nothing should be forced.
Yeah, nothing should be forced, especially if hormones are changing, you're not sleeping well. I
Mhm.
think we need to cut ourselves a little bit of slack for
Yep.
sure.
Yeah, 100%.
Hmm.
All right. So if women, they're listening, walk away remembering just one thing about staying consistent without feeling guilty, without getting burnt out, like what do you feel like that should be for them?
Yeah, consistency is not about checking off every
Mhm.
workout and doing every bit of exercise you're supposed to do. It's about looking at the overall picture and seeing where you started from compared to where you are now.
Mm. And remembering that path. So many women, I don't know if you find this, but they, 3, 4, 5 months down the road, they're like, I feel like I'm not getting anywhere. I'm like, well, let's go back to day one. Do
Yeah,
you
and I
remember
am
where
like
you
I'm
were?
big on logging or
Mhm.
like having an analysis, having if you are going to weigh yourself, have that weight that you're not doing every day, but
Mhm.
maybe once a month or once a year or something along those lines. Because or a picture. I get my clients to take a picture or
Mhm.
to again, like I was talking about the fitness test. When you have that starting point, we forget it, especially when we're in the middle and it's everyday life. We
Yep.
forget how far we've come because we're in the middle of it at that
Mhm.
moment. And
Yeah.
so to have those reminders, it is so important.
Yeah. Those milestones again, ways to celebrate those wins so that you can be like, okay, let's think back. Where were you? And now where are you? Oh yeah, now I'm sleeping so much better. Oh my gosh, I remember I was awake all night or I'm
Yes.
so overwhelmed and stressed out. And I'm like, yeah, now you're like calm and you're getting through your day. And yeah, it's like this simple
Mhm.
things to focus on.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So this has been amazing. This is awesome. Again, I find this is something that so many women struggle with. Just that mindset piece of just being consistent and thinking it's all or nothing and just never feeling like they're doing enough. And I think
Mhm.
taking a step back and focusing on some of the things we talked about are super important. You've shared so much great stuff. I love it.
Oh,
Um,
thank you.
if women want to find you, where would they be able to find you?
Okay, so I have a masterclass that talks about how to blend the science with lifestyle. So it's the three-phase food and fitness formula every woman over 50 needs to know. So I'll give you the link so people can
Yes.
go and see that. And YouTube is where I'm at a lot, and we're actually doing a starter series. Well, I'm doing a starter series right now, and we're going to be touching in on the not doing enough or too much, which is great. So that's on YouTube and Facebook, and AliciaJonesHealthyLiving.com is my website.
Awesome. Awesome. Yes, and I will link all those in the show notes as well so people can check those out to learn more about you. The masterclass, I looked through that. That looks pretty awesome. So that's pretty cool. And I love the YouTube videos are great. Such a great, I find, and this is why I love doing this, is because I feel like so many women are just lost right now. They just don't
Yeah.
know what to do. And the more we can educate them, the more we can ease their mind and just make them feel like, oh,
Mhm.
somebody else has been there. Oh, I don't have to be like that person. I can do me. And I think that's just, it's so much, I think it's so empowering for women then to step into that.
It is. And I think it's really important to know that whatever it is that you do, as long as you're doing something, it's enough. And there is like, I'm a science gal. I love like, exact like, oh, high intensity interval training, wait, train this amount. And like, I could get into the science with you forever, but if it does not fit your lifestyle, there is always a way. We have a million different pathways in our body physiologically and strength wise. There's always a way to get to your goals. You don't have to conform to what others tell you you have to do.
Yes, I love that. That's a perfect way to end because that was amazing. That was awesome.
Yay.
Thank you so much. If this resonated with you, please share this with anybody that you feel could benefit from all the mindset stuff we talked about and everything. Again, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me.
I hope this episode today resonated with you, and if it did, I would love for you to share it on your stories and tag me on Instagram or Facebook. A review would be appreciated too. Your reviews and shares not only help us to grow, but they give other women who are struggling through their menopausal years hope that they don't have to continue living the way that they do. Your questions and experiences are also so helpful in giving me subjects to talk about. So feel free to reach out to me anytime on Facebook or Instagram with anything. I would love to help.